Let's say you're sitting next to a girl, okay? As you can see, this girl is leaning in towards this guy, obviously very interested. But another thing you might notice is that she's got her legs crossed. But they're not just crossed, they're crossed towards this guy. When a woman crosses her legs towards you, chances are that means that she's interested because she's orienting her body. Even her breasts, if you look at this, they're pointed out towards this guy, okay? This girl is not being subtle with her flirting. It might be because this is the right guy, or she doesn't think she can do any better. But look at that huge grin on that face. My God, look at those chompers. She's showing him the mouth. She's showing him the breast. She's showing him the leg. She's leaning towards him, okay? In situations like this, a girl will often kind of play with her hair, maybe brush her hair to the side or whatever, touch her neck lightly, cock her head to the side like we saw in the other two pictures. Those things are dead giveaways, guys. Learn to look for them, alright? Okay. Next picture up, this is a little bit more about body orientation. As you can see, this woman, her body is pointing away towards Mr. Joe Schmo here, okay? Now, you can tell that she's noticing him because, well, she's looking at him, but this guy doesn't quite have her locked in quite yet because her body is facing away. Away is bad, guys. You never want a girl facing away from you. Now, if she turns her body towards him, that's a sign of interest, okay? If she crosses her legs towards him, that's a sign of interest, okay? So when a girl kind of shifts her orientation towards you, you know that she's shifting her full attention towards you. Now, with this thing, this girl's giving off a little bit of mixed signals because she seems like she's interested, but she's not fully committed yet. And you can tell that she's interested because they have pretty strong eye contact there. In fact, she's even playfully kind of bringing down her glasses and looking at this guy, and she's smiling at him. I gotta tell you guys, if a girl smiles at you, that's a go signal, okay? It might not seem like a big thing because girls smile at guys all the time, but if someone smiles at you, that means that they're open, okay? It doesn't have to mean anything like seductive, like, oh, I want you now, you know. You don't need those kind of heavy signals. Look for the light ones. Smile's always good, eye contact's always good. And if this guy gets this girl to orientate her body towards him, I'm sure that he can probably do a fairly good job at getting her. Alrighty. Last picture up. Okay, now here we got pretty big difference between these two women. This girl is obviously interested in the guy. This girl is not. How do I know that? Body language. They're both leaning towards him, but this girl's very guarded. Look, see how she's got her hand up like that? Okay, that's like a little shield. Okay, if we can draw that in there, that she's barricading herself in from this guy. Okay, she's not smiling. She's looking at him, but she's looking at him in a very kind of guarded way, like she doesn't like him. This girl, however, over here, is very obvious. She's smiling, she's making good eye contact, and look at the way her wrist is, okay? She's doing this open wrist type thing. Girls will often do this, and I don't know quite why, but it has something to do with the fact that the wrists are very kind of fragile things, like they're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Exposed in a way. Vulnerable, that's the word, vulnerable. The wrists are kind of like a vulnerable part of the body. And when a woman exposes her wrist to you like that, she's kind of opening up. She's kind of saying, like, she's exposing a vulnerable part of her body towards you. And it's a very subtle thing that a lot of guys miss, but if you see that, guys, that means the girl is heavily into you. So that combined with a smile, and if you also notice, she's leaning towards the guy, okay? And I wouldn't doubt that if I were to see under that table, the naughty boy that I am, she would have her legs crossed towards him, and she'd probably be maybe dangling a shoe or whatever. Okay? This girl, I bet that she's got her legs clamped together like an Iron Maiden or whatever, cobwebs between the legs, all that good stuff, and she's not going to give this guy anything. She's going to go off and find a guy of her own, but this guy's being smart because he's focusing on this one. Now, if you guys saw my group theory thing, this girl looks like the grade A kind of like bitch. She looks a little bit stronger, so if he's not careful, she's going to drag her away. But as you can see, if he were to act now, he'd probably be able to get a number from her and walk away and call her later when Miss Obstacle here isn't around.